And we're back with Paul Wolf Christensen. Thank you so much for doing this. We're going to get into some tough questions. You think you're ready?
Oh, sure.
Let's
fire away.
Let's start off with, besides Michael, who was the most strictest musician in the band?
Strictest.
Like, was there somebody that would say, no, we don't do it that way, or anybody? Or was everybody on a level playing field?
It was pretty level. I mean, Michael was the strictest, and he let us know what he wanted in the song. Bob, being in the band the longest, next to Tommy, whenever we were learning something that we hadn't done in a long time, Bob would always have a remembrance of the direction of the chords were supposed to be, or how the song went, and of course Tommy would know what the drums were doing. And sometimes, like at a sound check, we would learn our parts at home, but at a sound check, they would say, hey, you have to do this kind of like that, or whatever. But no one else really. Like I said, everybody kind of knew their role. So there wasn't a lot, anybody else jumping in your face saying, yeah, you're playing that wrong, or it's bad, or whatever.
That's just not only professionalism, that's just the way you guys, what I said earlier, you guys just clicked.
Yeah.
It was just there. Ever on stage and you made a mistake and looked over at Michael and went, oh man, hope you didn't notice that.
And got a look.
Yeah.
The look. One time I remember, it was after a song, and he was introducing the next song, and it was a very quiet moment, actually, maybe between sentences or words. I dropped a tambourine on stage, and it was really loud.
Yeah.
And he turned around. I can't remember what he said, but he said, dude, be careful, be quiet over there. And then he said something on the mic. He goes, he's a sax player. Sax players are different. I don't really know what that had to do with it. It just slipped out of my hand. It just slipped out of my hand. But I mean, I remember that. That's the only time.
At that moment, did you look at the other band members and go, oh no?
Oh, I just kind of wish the stage would open up and swallow me.
In the band, I think I know the answer to this, but in the band, who has the best sense of humor?
Oh, everybody in their own way does, I guess, but Rodney is, Rodney and Michael. Michael, like I said, could tell stories. He had a good sense of humor. I could tell him things sometimes, and he'd crack up.
That's awesome.
And Rodney too. And Tommy, I'd say. I think maybe Mark Lee's a little more on the serious side, but he has definitely got a good sense of humor.
Yeah.
Yeah, we all do. Being musicians, we're all a little odd.
Yeah.
In certain ways. Strange things happen.
So we're going to move into part of the interview. I'm going to ask you a band members. I'm going to say their name.
Okay.
And I want you to say the first thing that comes to your mind that you think of them.
All right.
Are you ready?
He's the psychiatrist now. Right?
Yeah, here we go. Are you ready?
All right, why not?
Let's start off, Rodney.
Dear friend, longtime friend, a real comic. He always has a way of lightening up a mood, and he's got a great heart, and he's a great family man.
How about E-Rock?
E-Rock, he's very serious about his career. He's a great bass player and a talented singer. He's very hardworking and very focused, and a good friend. Again, he's a resonator.
That's awesome.
He's a brother.
How about Mark Lee?
Mark Lee is he's a very talented guitar player, a very talented songwriter. He is a very focused guy. He's serious, and I just always imagine him. He's always planning ahead, the next step ahead. What can I do to get my music out there? And, but he's just also very driven and focused.
How about Danny Powers?
Danny Powers, everybody knows he's a brilliant guitar player. He's more reserved on the quiet side, and a lot of times he gets to a job and he's very, very quiet at sound check. And what I would do with Danny is wait for him to come up and say something to me first, and then a conversation would open up. But we did always enjoy talking together about music, bands, and studio equipment and recording, because that's a passion for him also. He's a very, very good engineer. as well as guitar player. And I fancy myself to do that type of thing myself. And we like to talk about equipment. And Danny is another guy that also really liked prog music like myself. So that's always, he loved Crimson and Yes, some of his favorite music, and he's played in bands that played that music. So I always enjoy talking with Danny about that too.
How about Tommy?
Tommy is, God, one of my dearest, sweet soul friends. I think one time in my entire life I've seen him have like a bad day. Other than that, he is consistently just a great friend and a great guy with a great sense of humor. And he's a very talented drummer, even more so I think than Michael Stanley fans understand, because I played with him in another format in the Dinosaurs. And Michael Stanley fans are familiar with what he did with that, but I mean, when we were playing together in covers and stuff like that, you could hear how much he loved learning Steve Gadd, who is his idol, and other drummers that he idolized, and he could play other things outside the realm of Michael's music very, very well. So I love the guy.
All you guys, when we watch you guys on stage, you guys are always smiling, having a good time. Even if something goes wrong, you guys just keep going.
And Tommy, I mean, he has really literally, he has been such a good friend. He's gotten me into a couple of the best gigs that I've ever had.
Wow.
So it showed that he believed in me and that I could do the job, and I really appreciate him for that.
And where I was going is he's always smiling.
Yeah.
You never see him not smiling on stage.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not looking at you and smiling, he's looking over at Eric.
Mm-hmm.
He's always smiling. Is he okay up there, or is it his way asking for help?
No, he's fine.
He's just always smiling, having a good time. So.
He's just fine. That's his signature. He's just that kind of guy.
How about David Young?
Dave Young, I've known him for quite a long time. I first met him when he was a salesman at Pi Keyboards and Audio, and he was demoing keyboards for me, and I just heard how great he could play at that time. He's a great guy, just a sweet soul, always has a nice word to say, and he's a good friend and a great player.
How about Bob?
Bob, most people don't realize how far back I go with Bob. So a little bit about Bob. I'm from Lorain, Ohio. I'm originally New York City, but we moved here when I was 7 or 8. Bob's from Lorain, Ohio. We grew up on the same street, Allison Avenue. I was on about 10th or 11th Street, and he was down a couple of blocks by around 8th Street or something like that. We both went to Lorain High School.
Wow.
He was an underclassman. I think he's 2 years younger than I am. When in high school, my high school band was the Coachman, and he joined a band called Family Dog Blues Band, and he was the piano player in that group. And we stole him to join the band, the
Wow.
Square Orange, right out of high school.
How did you do that? How did you steal them?
Well, I don't know if things just weren't going well for the Family Dog, or if they broke up because people were going to college. But Bob went to school locally, went to Baldwin Wallace.
Wow.
So we stole him to join the Square Orange, which had a guitar player, Rich Head, was in the band, and he was really well known in Cleveland. Later on, he had a really good group called Rain that played all over. And so Bob and I played in a band together when we were teenagers, and that's we got to know each other real well. And then I kind of lost track of him over the years till I started doing the And Friends and Resonators, and then we got kind of reacquainted and laughed about old times and things like that. He is a very kind person, a very talented person, and always fun to talk to. He's a good family man, and I just love being around him.
You could see him focused up on that stage, man.
Oh, yeah.
He just his eyes don't move off that.
Bob, he's just great.
How about, last but not least, how about Jennifer?
And Jennifer, I just love Jennifer. I've always thought of Jennifer as like a superstar waiting to happen. She is just a storied talent in Northeast Ohio. The first time I saw her, I think she was 16, singing in local bands. And it was like, wow, God, can this girl belt it out?
Yeah, yeah.
And I just followed her over the years. And, when I finally got to work with her, it was really great. It was just a joy being able to hear that voice every night. And she's an amazing singer, a very tender, a loving person, a great mom, great family person. And obviously, she's a great talent, and she has actually got a very, very good sense of humor. She, when we're on a road trip with Jennifer, she's one of the guys.
That's awesome.
And we all understand the whole, politically correct thing about, things that you do say and don't say around women in the workplace and things like that. But in a band, it's a little bit different. And she's like one of the guys, and she can tell a tale. She can spin a yarn like any of the guys, and we just are crying. We're laughing so hard.
You two seem like you click so well on stage. With the laughing and joking that you guys do, and that's what it's about. At the end of the day, that's what it's about. We're there to watch a show, but you guys got to enjoy it also, or you're gonna know. We're gonna hear that you're not enjoying yourself.
Yeah, and like E-Rock said, I saw his interview, and he said soul sister, and that's a pretty good description. Yeah, she's our soul sister, and she's very close to Michael, very, very close, and started singing with him at a young age, and they had quite a bond. He wouldn't want to sing with any other singer, and she felt close with him.
And you see that between them too when they're on stage. You see that they don't have to look at each other. They already know. How did you find out about Michael's illness?
He asked me. He called me to come over and play on the last album, the final album, Tough Room, and he had 2 songs that he needed sax on. And I said, yeah, just give me a day. And he gave me the day, and I went over to do it. And when I went over there, and when I first saw him, this was during pandemic. This was in the very end of July, first week of August, I think, during pandemic. And I went over there to record, and we were both masked up and everything like that. But when I saw him, I was kind of shocked because he lost 25, 30 pounds. Wow. He lost a lot of weight, but he hadn't told us anything, but I knew something was going on. I just knew it. And he hadn't told us. And literally less than a week later, I did my tracks with him. Less than a week later, he sent us in the band and an email, all of it directed to everybody in the band, and he explained to us what was going on. So that would have been in August, and it came straight from him. And very emotional time for him and for us.
When you got that email, who was the first person in the band that you spoke to about it?
Probably Rodney, and then Tommy. More than likely, I'm pretty sure it was them.
Not to get into specifics with that conversation, but that had to be a pretty tough conversation.
Yeah, well, I mean, he told us that, his prognosis, and that he was going to start radical treatment and everything like that. But we all talked about what a, tough hill that is to climb. And when somebody told that they're stage 4, that there's not a lot of people to get through that.
Yeah.
And we just all kind of had this, foreboding feeling that, our time is limited together. But we supported him. During that time, we texted back and forth, Michael and I did, and emailed back and forth for several months until towards the very end, when he didn't really feel like he could communicate personally anymore.
Yeah.
And then we would communicate with Sarah and Anna and Nancy.
When he had his heart surgery and everything, everybody was like, this is pretty tough.
Well, he always beat everything.
Yeah, that's where I was going.
He beat a heart attack. He beat that Widowmaker in 92 or 3.
Yeah.
And he beat quadruple bypass. He beat prostate cancer. And we always thought, well, he's got a chance. He beats everything, but it was too late. And,
you went through the pandemic, which was bad enough for everybody, and then you have this happen. And everybody's lives changed. We talked about this in the beginning, how everybody's life changed in the beginning of the pandemic. We learned going through that pandemic and then this happened, what were you doing at the moment when you found out that he actually passed away? Do you remember that moment?
I was just at home, and we got a text from his twins, from the girls, and just prior to that, they said, you guys should write him. I said, I'm going to write him a letter, because I'd be damned if the last thing I wanted him to hear from me would be a text message or something. And I literally hand wrote it, and I sent it to the girls, and they said that they would make sure they read it to him. And we all did that. I'm pretty much sure that everybody in the band did get a chance to write him a letter. But when they said that he had finally just, passed on, it was, Lori started crying, and I just kind of sat there stunned and just kind of thought, just drowned in my thoughts. And that
Do you recall what was the first thing that come to your mind?
Oh, no. I kind of like, just sadness, just complete sadness that this beautiful ride was over, and this beautiful man that meant so much to all of us was gone. It's just hard to believe that he's just gone, and still is.
And that's to a lot of the fans and you guys as band members, going back to the pandemic once again, there was no break of anything. There was just pandemic into this.
Yeah.
Would you ever imagine this kind of overwhelming support from fans?
I imagine it would be, but it's even more than I thought. Every day there's posts on Facebook, social media, Instagram, and people expressing how much they're going to miss him, or how much they loved this song, and they're posting up favorite songs. And doing, you guys have seen my solo thing. I get out there and play, and every single night, just about, fans of his become fans of mine, and they come out, and a girl will hug me and start crying on my shoulder. That just huge, lifelong fans, and saying how much they're going to miss him. And that's still going on to this day, 6-7 months later, and it just goes to show you what a incredible influence he had on Northeast Ohio and elsewhere.
And you guys also, you guys being a part of that, you guys got to start taking credit where credit's due. You guys are a part of that.
But it all revolved around him.
Yeah.
I mean, that.
How blown away were you with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame turnout?
Yeah, that was amazing.
That was just a nice cold day, and everybody was there. So
Michael is a special writer as far as composing, music. He's one of the best damn lyricists I've ever known, and the imagery of his songs, it's just far beyond what most writers can do. I'll put him right up there with like a Paul Simon or James Taylor.
Absolutely.
Or Sting. I mean, it's absolutely that good.
One of the things I ask the fans on the Resonator page is, and it's kind of fun to do, is there a word or something that he uses in a song you go, did he just throw that in there? Like Obtruse was one of them. Is there something that you go, wow, this guy just... The other example I use is Rick Springfield used the word moot in the middle of his song.
Oh, yeah.
You just don't see that. So that shows you the talent of Michael when he was writing these words. But is there a sentence in a song or a word that you hear him saying and you go, wow, that was really put in a song?
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I just... not in respect to like, moot or something like that.
Yeah.
Culturing. Where is this? I'm trying hard to keep this simple, but it never seems to last. A glimpse of roads that lie before me now, a conversation with the past. You can demand an explanation or just lay back for the ride and hope that somewhere out along that winding road, you find that someone by your side. And so I try and lose myself in what still matters and all the beauty I've been shown. Across a universe of wonder and a million passing tones.
Wow.
I don't know when in his career he wrote that, but listening to this album, you know, it's just, that's just one of 15 or 16 songs.
Yeah.
Every one of them are just profoundly great.
And
His insights, the way, you know, he could write an incredible love song.
Yeah.
But he could write stuff with just incredible insights and beautiful, you know, poetry. And that was his major in college, I think. You know, it was literature and creative writing.
Did you do poetry too?
Huh?
Did you do poetry too? Is that how you became writing music and that? Did you write poetry at all or no?
Not poetry, but lyrics. I got, when I was doing all those years playing in rock bands and writing pop and rock music, I could write some pretty good lyrics and stuff. I wouldn't say like his, but it's a real craft.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to try. I just never cared for trite lyrics.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, that are just, I like something with some depth to it. And so I always kind of like tried to do that. But yeah, he's special.
You know, we talk about, you know, thank God for the man who put the white lines on the highway. Only Michael Stanley could make that work. Mm-hmm. You know, think about all the bands that you've been involved with or the bands that you've seen as a kid. You know, not too many bands have that hook.
Oh yeah.
You know, so
and it just came from life. Driving home on a turnpike from Youngstown in the middle of the night after a gig, and you're in a blizzard, and that line just comes to him. And I'm sure he wrote it down like on a paper bag or a napkin, which a lot of us do. You know, when inspiration strikes, I'm looking for garbage in the car just to write it down. Nowadays, you can use your cell phone and use voice recorder. But yeah, that's how it works. That's how it happens.
You know, going forward, and we should be allowed to talk about it now because it's been news that's been released. But, you know, you just received word that the reunion show, I don't want to call it a reunion, let's call it a show to honor all of you guys.
Celebrate Michael.
Celebrate Michael, but to honor all you guys. Mm-hmm. How does that make you feel? It's sold out within 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's sold out. It makes me feel great. And it just, again, solidifies that love that Northeast Ohio had for Michael. We were so fortunate to be able to play for large audiences in concert format for all of these years.
Yeah.
And always play for 3,000, 4,000, 2,000 people. And every show was just about sold out.
And this selling out within 10, 15 minutes just goes to show all you guys.
Our last gig was the Akron Civic.
Yeah, which was a great show.
And my favorite venue, and it was a very cool show because we got to go back and play some stuff that we had never played together before.
Yeah.
I got to actually play flute with him a little bit.
Yeah, yeah.
That was neat.
You know, that whole show, you got to admit, that was a killer show. He was dancing like crazy. I think all you guys were getting.
He was really on.
Yeah.
He was really on that show, and it showed.
Now, I've asked Eric and I've asked Mark, and I'm going to ask you. Michael sent out a last letter to all you guys. Would you care to share that with us, the fans?
No, I just couldn't. Yeah. I just, it was just a personal thing for, parting words to us and what we meant to him. But I wouldn't want to get into that.
Well, we all respect that. We all do.
I don't think any of us in the band either had spoken with each other either in the group about that either. It's just something that there is, you know.
How long did it take you to read that full letter? Did you read it all the first time, or did it take you a couple times?
I read it with my wife, with Lori. We just sat on the couch and read it together. And there was a couple letters over the course of his last days. I think that altogether, I remember two, there might have been a third one. I might have got one, him thanking me for the songs I played on the album and how much he liked them. And that was it. But I think we'll just keep that in our heart.
Well, we appreciate it. Mm-hmm. All right, so I've been asking everybody, all the bandmates I've been interviewing up to this point, and I'm sure you're going to go with me on this. I know this is going to be a solid yes. But I want to be the guy to introduce you guys at the MGM when you come on stage. So can I at least try, just so I can try to get a yes from you? I got Eric as in, I got Mark going. I think Mark's only on my side a little bit is because he's my guitar teacher and he wants me to keep coming
Oh,
back.
is he? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he's trying to teach me guitar.
Uh-huh.
He does have patience because it takes a lot. And we were talking about this earlier, listening.
Yeah.
He can teach me all he wants. And I want to get up there and be that rock and roller. And he goes, slow down.
I don't want to learn the names of the strings. I just want to play Stairway to Heaven. Yeah.
So
I have a couple friends that are guitar teachers that they tell me the stories, and it's just like, you know, the request. The kid comes in, you know, I want to, it smells like Teen Spirit. Well, do you know how do you tune your guitar?
I've been working on Home Tonight and Spanish Nights for months, for many months. And I know he's getting sick of it. And he's teaching me the hard, you know, you got to learn the hard way. You know, he doesn't want to tell you how to do everything because then you're not going to come back and learn. And just the simplest things in Spanish Nights that he goes, how come you didn't hear that? You know, so it's been a blast learning. But I'm asking you, can I be that guy to come out to introduce you guys? But this is how I want to do it. Okay, you ready? Let's see if I can do this. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. What? No.
I don't know about
It's just not. I'm working at it. I'm trying to get it done here.
I don't know. I don't make those decisions. But right off the top of my head, I would think probably someone like Bill Lewis might be doing it from NCA.
I think I could outdo Bill.
You think you can outdo Bill?
I could. I deepen my voice a little bit and do it. But I just want to tell you from all the fans, from myself and Laura and all the fans, you're very much appreciated. Everything that you guys done, but you personally, and I meant what I said earlier, if you could watch those fans from our point of view while you're on stage and see them rubbing their arms with the goosebumps and the tears running down their face when you get done with a solo, it's just phenomenal.
I expect the show, the reunion celebration of life show is going to be quite a bit of that. And I think it's going to be happy and there'll be tears and it's going to be remembering good times. And I hope that it's a very healing event also, you know, and I think it will be.
And I think it's perfect timing. It's perfect timing for this to happen because a lot of people that are on the Resonator page buying tickets for this sold out show, a lot of them did say, I want to go because I want to heal. Michael would expect us fans to be there.
Absolutely.
You know, so he wouldn't, in his last letter he put to NCX, all his fans would expect to be there. We should go there and support him. But you need to know that you're appreciated. We love you guys to death. We appreciate you being part of our families for many years and many years to come and everything you do. So, Paul Wolf Christensen, thank you very, very much. We're going to move on to him showing us some of his favorite things that he's collected over the years. And want to break out into a song?
That means a lot. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I know how to play Spanish Nights. You want to? No, I'm kidding. Paul Wolf Christensen, thank you so much for the time. Thank you for today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back with Paul Wolf Christensen.